It's the final countdown. It's holding its JSU. JJ from the bet side going to drop by. He's going to give us some of his DFS plays too. Guys, ladies, let me just catch you up on the latest news here with the inactives and the actives, and then we'll get to JSU, who's marinating on something right now. Week 12, who's active? Saquon, Damian Harris, and Ramondre Stevenson, Hunter Henry, and Jonnu Smith. Cordero Patterson. Let's see here. I got the Patterson, Barkley, right? Who else is active? Scotty Miller, if you're interested in that one. The inactives, Corey Davis is out. Kadarius Toney and Sterling Shepard still out there. We've got no Kyle Rudolph, which is interesting if you're going Ingram. Joe Hayden is out, so that's a big one. Couple of Steelers coming back, though, with Watt and Fitzpatrick. So those are the big inactives that we're seeing right now. We do have JSU with us. He is wearing his UV glasses, which I still have yet to get. Can you just get those on Amazon? Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's where my girlfriend got them for me. So
okay, very good. Let's go do that. What are you doing? What's going on right now? What's going through your head? Any changes coming up? Because I know you saw the Stafford report there. I copied your core. The only guy I left out was Van Jefferson. I'm not really on either one of these passing games too much. I think that Devontae Adams is not getting talked up enough, but I also don't study other sites, JSU. Like, we get into groupthink here, and it's something that I probably need to do better, is maybe bounce some ideas off outside of it. Have not heard a lot about Devontae from that game. And I know that the running games, like, you would think Henderson's going to get some more run in this one. And we need to find out about Aaron Jones. If he's in, A.J. Dillon, I can't imagine as an option anymore. If he's out, then is A.J. Dillon an option? So let's just talk about that game specifically, JSU.
Yeah, it's funny because early this morning, when I woke up at like 5:30 a.m. After about 3 hours of sleep, I was like thinking in my head, in a way, last night when I was doing all my stuff, I was like, okay, Matthew Stafford always gets ownership. Now we're talking a shorter slate, not many great quarterbacks. He's got to be owned, right, Holden? Like, he's got to have ownership. And then kind of just dawned on me, like, none of his receivers are going to be owned. Like, not many people are going to want to pay 9.6 for Cooper Kupp. And then Odell Beckham and Van Jefferson, nobody's talking about those guys.
Beckham and Jefferson.
The only one that people were really discussing, I think, was Darrell Henderson because of that price tag. I mean, if Darrell Henderson was more expensive, he's probably incorrectly priced, which is why people have interest in him, really, at 5'8". He should be over 6K, right? This is a running back who, the production dropped a little last two games, but the offense hasn't been that good. So, he's still 6'5", probably to 6'6" running back, somewhere in that range, and you're getting him at a value. But so in my head, I was like, oh, well, Stafford might be a nice little pivot. So I'm starting to think about maybe changing it. And then all of a sudden we get this news about Matthew Stafford's been dealing with an elbow. Matthew Stafford's been dealing with a chronic back. And it's funny that we get that news because 2 weeks ago, I remember watching that game 2 weeks of two games ago for him, it would be. And saying to myself after they got spanked, I'm like, he's got to be hurt. Like, I think it was the Titans that spanked them. And in my head, I was just like, I'm sorry, but there's just no way. It was a primetime game against Tennessee, and he just was off. Like, he was not good. And then, he gets beaten up the next week by San Francisco, who, let's be honest, San Francisco's been one of the better teams the last few weeks. So, okay, whatever. But still, like, that's a game that the Rams should be able to win, especially if they're talking about being able to get to the Super Bowl. So I'm like, now this makes sense. Okay, he's dealing with elbow and back pain. Well, is it going to be cold in Green Bay? I assume it's going to be cold in Green Bay, right?
I didn't see any weather issues today.
Not weather issues, but it's going to be cold.
Yeah, it's not. Let me just get the actual temperature for you. 35. 14 mile an hour winds too.
Listen, it's not going to feel great when he gets his first hit and he falls on that back on that field. That's not going to feel great. I would assume that you'll probably end up seeing a healthy dose of Darrell Henderson right from the beginning to help him out, right? If they can run the football, hopefully keep him upright a little more. Also, the short passing game. One of the things, though, with Stafford that we love is that he loves that deep ball. But I think they're going to want to get the ball out of his hands quick. So that probably leads to more like Cooper Kupp passing. But in the end, I couldn't roll it because I'm like, this dude's too hurt. I didn't like love the game either. I do think it's a game that the Packers can win just outright. I know, but I think in the end, it could end up being like a 2017 game. And yeah, maybe one or two guys get there, but for the most part, I don't know if it's going to be as appealing from a fantasy side, especially if Matthew Stafford is banged up like it seems he really is. So all in all, I'm actually taking away exposure from this game, getting lighter on Van Jefferson. So obviously there's going to be a change in my core.
About Robinson.
James Robinson?
Yeah.
I love James Robinson. He's one of my favorite backs. Christian McCaffrey's obviously number one, but after that, love James Robinson. I think Saquon Barkley's set up to get peppered in the passing game, and he could obviously break some big runs as well. Joe Mixon's in a good spot if you're just talking about stud running backs. Like I like those guys. And then Javonte Williams coming off the bye. I sit here every week and I watch this dude have like 2 or 3 runs where he's got guys grabbing his ankles, guys jumping on his back, and he's still like upright running as they're doing it. And I'm just sitting here watching him drag guys 5-10 yards. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how is this guy not like, I don't know, like getting the full workload or at least not like 60 to 70% of the workload? Melvin Gordon, I'm sorry, but he's just not it.
No.
And then finally he fumbles. Melvin Gordon starts to fumble a little bit. The last game, Javonte, after that fumble, saw a majority of the work after that fumble happen. I don't know the exact numbers, but it was majority. It wasn't a split after that. He saw a big workload after that fumble. So hopefully with the bye and Melvin maybe having those fumble issues, hopefully we see a heavy dose of Javonte. Now, listen, I wish I could say I had like so much conviction on this play. Like they're definitely going to get, I don't have that type of conviction, but I will say if we somehow fall on the Javonte game in this matchup where he gets the majority of the workload, then I think he's a great play at 5,200.
I know a lot of people.
And Miles Sanders is going to be the chalk there. And I think that's a backfield by committee too, as dumb as Philly is for doing it. But I think Boston Scott gets some work. I think some of those other guys, even though Jordan Howard's out, Holden, I don't know if you agree with this or JJ, welcome. But I think the next guy up, you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
don't
Philly's
say Gainwell.
I'm telling you though, they're just going to be like next guy. I think they're going to use 3 running backs.
All right.
I don't know.
Well, Boston Scott owns the Giants though. Just so you know, and I don't have any Boston Scott, and I'm a little nervous about it, but he owns the Giants, and maybe that's what knocks Sanders down a little bit. I got 5 lineups today, 1 on FanDuel, 4 on DraftKings. I got 1 with Miles Sanders on it. You know?
Yeah, I'm lighter on Miles Sanders.
Do you have any?
It's where like the Javonte Williams pivot in tournaments. I get the play though. I love Miles Sanders, the player. Uh-huh. I think he's a ridiculous player. I think he's been misused. I think obviously Phillies finally seem to realize maybe that the running backs need to be more involved and it should be less on Jalen Hurts to kind of take some pressure off of them. And maybe they'll keep doing it. Who knows though? I don't know. It's a good matchup against the Giants. I get all that, but at the same time, I can't play all the chalk and you got to take some stands. I think Javonte's a nice pivot off some of the chalk running backs that we're going to get. So that's where I'm at with Javonte. And I know I had some questions about my FanDuel core. I mean, he's 5,700. So it's, at 5,700, even if he gets 50% or if it's a split, I still think he can pay off that price tag at 5,700. If somehow, like I said, we fall on the extra workload, well, that's perfect.
First of all, I forgot to do this because I was so caught up. Congrats on the 167K. Wonderful work there. Wonderful work there. And then I see JJ He's on mute probably, so make sure you're not on mute because you were just clapping and I didn't hear a goddamn thing.
JJ, I wanna clap because I fucking love that bet you put out.
I'm not.
What was it? Giants plus 10.5. What was the teaser you had for the people?
Yeah, Packers through the 7 and Giants through the 10. Just so I'm clear, you guys can hear me, right?
Yeah, we can
Now
hear
we
you.
can.
Okay. So first of all, I do like the look from the two of you. Holden White is definitely your color, and JSU rocking the Blankenship glasses today. Look at this guy, like he's gonna kick some field goals for the Colts. You kind of love to see it.
I'm ready. Put me in, coach. Put me in. I'm ready.
Tell you what, you swap helmets with Blankenship today, no one will know the difference.
Yep, I'm ready. I'm telling you. I can make a tackle in open field, JJ. I can make a tackle. Like from one of the small guys. I could grab an ankle. Hang on him as he drags me like Javonte. Just like hold on for dear life. I could do it. I'm ready.
I like that you guys were talking on Javonte. It's so frustrating because it's like you want. I mean, Gordon's still good. I want to be clear, but it's like Javonte looks elite when he's running the football. Like it's kind of crazy that it almost seems like they're holding him back there. But you're right that one of these games, maybe they ride the hot hand and he has a few big carries and they just kind of ride him throughout. It could be this game. I mean, the Chargers are definitely susceptible between the tackles, so I don't mind that at all. As for Miles Sanders, it's tough to imagine they don't give him a healthy workload today. I know it's kind of like a 3-man ship, but oof. I mean, I feel like it was just a few weeks ago, JSU, like right before he got hurt or the game he got hurt, where we were like, this looks like a Miles Sanders day.
Yeah, it was the Raiders game.
First drive,
he got hurt right away.
First drive, 30 yards. They gave him like 5 touches, and then he gets hurt. This just seems like a spot where they would go back to him. I mean, this team needs to win games. He's healthy, but look, either way, I prefer the Giants out here. I think Philly's getting steamed too much. That's kind of why I like teasing them through it. But yeah, I think Philly probably wins, but I like the fact that you can get Giants double digits in that same teaser.
JJ, don't you think it's more like, okay, everyone just saw this Giants team get, they sucked. They got beaten up by Tampa and everyone saw it. And it's like, I agree. I don't think Daniel Jones is very good, but I actually think the Giants team is okay. Like, I think if you're giving me 10.5, like I definitely think they can cover here against the Eagles at that number for sure. I mean, the Eagles look good, but division games, the Giants can play them decent, like to where it's not a big lead, right?
I mean, here's my thing. Like the Giants have lost like only a handful of games by double digits this year. And I mean, look at the teams, the Bucks, the Rams, the Cowboys. These are some of the best teams in the NFL. And the Broncos earlier in the year, the first game of the season, which I don't really look at that as much of a game. I mean, the Broncos played well earlier in the year. But outside of that, like I said, the Giants lose to really good teams by double digits. Philly's a good team, but they're not a really good team. I think that, like I said, the Giants are healthier now, or somewhat healthier. They're still dealing with injury bug, but looks like Barkley's going to play, I think. And they still have a few extra guys that are back. I don't know Shepard or Tony, but Kyle Rudolph doesn't matter.
Tony's out. Shepard's out.
Yeah, so those guys are out. Kyle Rudolph as well. That doesn't really matter to me. So either way, I think they can keep this with a double digit. So, we'll see. Obviously, you get the Daniel Jones. It's going to black out a few plays today, and then it'll be a loser. But we'll see what happens. Jalen Hurts, by the way, is playing some of his best football of the year. His last few games
because he doesn't have to throw it.
I'll tell you what, Holden, if you've watched him throwing the ball's been much better the last few games.
I have, but I think that's the big thing. They're not throwing the ball 30 times a game anymore with him.
Yeah, well, I think the running game is taking some pressure off of him, and he's looked, like JJ said, he's looked a lot better in the pocket and throwing the football. And maybe those two have something to do with each other, right? I mean, maybe that's it, JJ. Maybe, the fact that he doesn't feel like he has to throw it 40-something times to be in a game. And the coaching staff feels like they can or figured out, oh, maybe we should run the football like we've been saying for like the entire year. And then all of a sudden it's like Miles Sanders goes down and something went off in Sirianni's head like, oh, this is what we should do. We should just pound the rock when Miles Sanders gets hurt. Like, that's it, obviously.
And I love to see that you guys, at least a bunch of you guys, including yourself, Chase, you have the Tampa game as a stack. I've liked that over since earlier in the week. I mean, obviously it's moved up like a 1.5 or 2 points since, but I don't know how that game doesn't, like, to me, the only way this game doesn't shoot is if Taylor gets absolutely bottled up by this Tampa run defense, which is possible. Tampa's a humbling rush defense for even the best of running backs. But as long as Taylor can have a decent day, and it'll help set up third and shorts for Wentz and not force Wentz to just throw the ball all game long, I think the Colts will score here. And the Tampa, they'll score against anybody. It doesn't really matter. So I don't. And the Colts don't generate a tremendous amount of pressure either. So they're talented more on their linebacker and secondary. But look, at the end of the day, I think you get a much better Brady today. I know we got a decent version of him versus the Giants, but that's the Giants. I think both teams should force the opponent to score.
Can I just say too, one thing I feel like when Antonio Brown went down and Scotty Miller, I'm pretty sure was already hurt, or he got hurt right after, or whatever it was. I think he was already hurt. I think it was a huge loss for this team, because as great as Mike Evans is at receiver, as great as Chris Godwin is, Rob Gronkowski, all these guys, and Gronk was hurt too. But as great as those guys are, they're not burners. Like Antonio Brown, the way he was being used, you could make the case that he was the best receiver on that team before he got hurt. And the way he was being used was down the field. And I know you don't think of Tom Brady as just someone who heaves it, but it was something that was missing in the offense. So I think when you watch Tampa, there's a reason why the last few weeks you've seen a ton of dumping off to running backs and short pass, like Tom Brady just kind of dinking, dunking, taking what's there. In a way, it's from what the defense has been doing. But I think another reason is because they didn't have that type of speed. And then Perryman comes in, and he's kind of a speed guy, but he's not as fast as like Scotty Miller, I don't think, but he's kind of a speed guy. And you saw right away them try and connect with him down the field. I think it was something that's been missing from this team. And with Scotty Miller back, I don't know if I'm not saying Scotty Miller is the greatest receiver either. I'm just saying, like, I think it was a huge piece of this offense that was missing. And even if Scotty Miller gets like 30% of the work, maybe him and Tyler Johnson like split down the middle. Maybe they get like 30 to 40% each, right, on the field, and they split those three wide receiver sets. I think when Scotty's out there, he's going to be used for that take the top off type routes where he's going deep. And when you got Evans, Godwin, teams have to choose, like, we can't just, always take away Scotty Miller when you got Chris Godwin and Evans. You can't leave everyone one-on-one. Scotty Miller is going to get a chance down the field today. He's active. He's going to get a chance down the field to make a big play. And if he does, he's going to pay off his tag. If he drops it, or if they don't connect on the one or two plays, then he's going to end with like 2 fantasy points. But I think it's worth taking a shot, especially if you're MMEing. Like today I have one main team on DK, and I'm actually going to MME for like the 12th time in my life. And why? It's more to do with the fact that I got the King of the Beach seat. I had this 5K ticket for the DK World Championship qualifier. So I had all this money invested into one team for all these things. So I was like, I'm just going to make one main team, and then I'm going to MME just to dabble in it. And I'm going way overweight on Carson Wentz for sure. Carson Wentz, Tom Brady. Those are my 2 favorite quarterbacks. I think it's funny how like Carson Wentz is going to come in at like 3% owned. I don't think people are going to go down to Carson Wentz if they go down. And in this game where JJ's telling me, like, I just don't see how it goes under the total. And I've been hearing everyone in my ear, AKA Big T, tell me how good the Colts are and how they're going to the Super Bowl and all. Well, if you think they're going to the Super Bowl, then this is the spot where you need to play Carson Wentz, because I'm going to tell you right now, Carson Wentz is going to have to make some plays. Tampa is going to do that. Jonathan Taylor, as great as he is, I just don't see them getting up on the Bucs like they did to the Bills. Now, if they do, okay, maybe Carson Wentz won't have to. Like if this turns into JJ after the first quarter, the Colts are up 14-3. Well, then maybe Carson might not have to do as much as I thought. But I just can't count out Brady like that. I feel like Brady's going to be able to score, and he's going to put pressure on Carson Wentz. Can he make the throws? I think he can. I think he can beat this Bucs defense in the secondary. He's got weapons. We didn't see as much of them because of how the game script went, right, JJ? Like the game script went away for those receivers last week for Carson Wentz. Yeah. I don't see that this week.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you this too. I mean, if there's one thing Brady's done recently, it's made some pretty egregious decisions throwing the football. I think he has like 5 picks in his last 3 games, and he should have more. Like he's thrown a lot of balls into double and triple coverage where you're like, what was that?
But that's because he's forcing it.
He does that a few times today. It wouldn't surprise at all if the Colts get a big lead. And to be honest, with over tickets in my hand, I'd love nothing more than the Colts to go up 14-0 or 17-0 or 21-0, because Brady will definitely get them back. Maybe not get them back in the game, but forcing him to throw the rest of the game is only going to be good for the total. But yeah, I just think the game shoots. There's a bunch of different scripts where it shoots out. And compared to every other game on the slate today, definitely my favorite game as far as the total goes over. Because there's a lot of games you could technically stack today. Like the Denver Charger game is like a sneaky game. I think that could go over. For that to go over, it requires you to really think somebody on Denver is going to have a good day. And it could be Javonte. It could be Teddy Bridgewater, but man, it hasn't been Teddy Bridgewater much over the last few years. So it's a tough game, but I think this game makes a lot of sense. The prices are fair outside of Jonathan Taylor. What do you make of that as him as a play today, JSU, where you're basically paying max dollar for Taylor in like the worst possible matchup?
Yeah, Vita VA back. That's definitely not good. I would have loved Jonathan Taylor if he was out too. Like, I still don't mind him though, because I do think he's going to be heavily involved in the passing game. I think the script might flip a little bit, but I think they're not going to phase him out, right? They're just going to find other ways to get him the football. That's the thing. So, and is Nelson's healthy, right? Like he's going to play, right? Quentin Nelson.
Yep.
So that's obviously good for them. I mean, my problem is I want McCaffrey. So that's where my problem is with this spot is I do think it's also a McCaffrey blow up spot, but JT still could get there. I mean, he could definitely get there. You would think though, the Tampa's number one like goal is to just slow him down, right? Like you would think that would be the stop Jonathan Taylor, make Carson Wentz throw, and let Tom Brady do what he does, and we're gonna win this game in the end. Like that's got to be their idea.
And I'm thinking this issue, like, is it crazy? I didn't play cash today, but like as I'm looking at this more and more into the pricing, like it just seems like the cash build is pretty easy today. No, I mean, to me, you throw Brady in there with a receiver, whether it's Godwin or Evans, run him back with either Pittman. If you really want to get ballsy, I wouldn't go Taylor because McCaffrey's the same price. But maybe you run back with Pittman. You play Mike Williams. Maybe you play one Tennessee short priced receiver because somebody has to catch passes on that team today. And from there you basically still have like 6,500 to go a bunch of different directions, the rest of your lineup for cash. It just seems like they made it, I don't want to say simple. And then of course, Miles Sanders, you can plug in there at 51. It just seems like, am I just thinking too much or not thinking enough about it? But it seems like the cash build specifically, you might have a lot of similarities between a lot of ownership, because it seems like the way the pricing is, the cash lineup should look very similar throughout the board today. Yeah.
I mean, you've got clear spots to go at running back to kind of spend up to, like you said. Maybe though, the different route, JJ, would be trying to find some value at wide receiver and spending up for both. I mean, I've struggled to do it, but I think it can be done. You got to reach on a real cheap receiver at one point. And maybe, who knows, maybe I don't think Scotty Miller's a cash play, but in tournaments, maybe Scotty Miller opens up that type of value to be able to do something like that, where you play JT and Christian McCaffrey in a Scotty Miller build. And who knows, maybe you don't play Tom Brady in that build. Maybe you play Carson Wentz to get a little more, salary opened up. so you don't have to spend down for 3 or 4 guys. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean, hear me out. Like you play Fitzpatrick and Rodgers on Tennessee, both of them for a total of 6,700. Like, I'd feel pretty good that 2 of them combined will get you the value you need at 6,700. Look, one of them might go off. When I say go off, like, 6 catches for 70 yards, something like
16. That. Yeah, 16. Go nuts.
Yeah, they'll go absolutely nuts at 3-2. But then you don't have to worry about, because I feel like don't get me wrong, if you're playing multiple lineups and you want to play one Tennessee receiver in each, because somebody's got to catch passes for this team. Tannehill's not going to throw for 30 yards today. So, unless he starts doing dump offs to running backs, and the game script's not positive for them either. So, I mean, as far as the run game goes, so they're going to be throwing today, you would think. And yeah, sure, lack of continuity with some of these guys, but these prices are pretty ridiculous. I mean, Fitzpatrick and Rodgers collectively should be on the field, 65% of the time today, especially on passing downs.
Probably, yeah.
So to me, I just think and God forbid, guy catches a slant and a missed tackle and they house one. I mean, then you're really in good shape. So I just think you're building cash. I think you can go one of those 2 receivers or both of them together and just hope to collectively get enough points, because as you said, I don't think a lot of people are going to be targeting Tennessee receivers, but if you need somebody cheap, makes sense to me, because someone's got to catch passes there.
Okay, boys, let's get to some questions here. Again, we'll take your questions up to lock, and we got a lot of them. So let's start rolling. I'm going to go all the way back to the start of the show. Handyman wants to know Ty Johnson, thoughts on him this afternoon. That's an MMA movie, isn't it?
I think he's a guy that, we could probably see set up to catch some balls, to get some work. I have no problem at his price tag just rolling him out there. I mean, Tevin Coleman he's old. He's not what they need. And if they get down in this game to Houston, you would expect more Ty Johnson as well. So I think he's definitely one of the better tournament cheap running back plays, I guess. Also, I guess you could play like a Rex Burkhead. I don't love, though, that Royce Freeman, it looks like, is going to get some third down work. At least that's what they said this week. So that might cut into Burkhead / David Johnson. You don't know, but it might cut into them a little bit. Maybe we go back to that 3-headed running back that they've been doing for a lot of this year, where they all kind of get similar amount of work. So that's just something to think about. But Ty Johnson's definitely my favorite cheap guy.
Higby, what do you think of Elijah Mitchell? I mean, personally, he's right at the top for me. I've got a couple lineups with Elijah Mitchell. When he plays, he gets the rock. So JSU, your thoughts? Yeah. That's what he wants.
Yeah, I mean, Elijah Mitchell, I mean, it sounds like he's going to play, and he's going to play with some pain, because I think the coach said something like, it's all about pain tolerance, and, he's going to tough it out or whatever. But, like, that's not very comfortable playing a guy who's already, clearly hurt, and, he's going to play in pain. It's not great, but the price tag is great. The matchup, I think, is fine. San Francisco, we love targeting their running backs. So, yeah, I don't mind it, especially if you're, like, playing large field tournaments. He's probably going to come in lower, right, Holden, just because of the whole injury, playing in pain situation.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. Yeah. And then let's go look at the price range there too. Where is he? He's at 5'4". I mean, there's other, like, some cheap guys that people might just start looking at around. Like Henderson is 5.8. He costs $400 more, right? So where do people go if they got the 400? Are they building with Henderson, who I think is going to be popular? Or are they going to him? Myles Gaskin is 5'6". He's right there in the price range. If you did want to get crazy and go Javonte or Ramondre Stevenson. So it's an interesting price range there. JJ, the next question I want to start with you. I want to get your thoughts. Henderson or Robinson, James Robinson, because I'm almost 100% sure JSU is going with Robinson. Henderson or Robinson today?
So I'm going to be down the middle on both of them. I do think James Robinson is going to get more ownership, though. But I'm going to be down the middle because I'd rather have a little more exposure to Henderson, assuming ownership. I mean, JSU, what do you think? Ownership is probably going to be more in Robinson today, right? Out of them two?
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer than you think. James Robinson might be higher, but I don't think it's by a big margin. I think it's more like a 5% higher, lower.
If it's that close while I'm doing the show, I'll likely make a few swaps to have Robinson a little more because I do like Robinson more. The only reason why I wanted them to be even was because I felt like he's just going to get higher ownership, and then I'm just because I have him slightly more, it doesn't do me any favors, or at the same doesn't do me any favors. But yeah, if you think he's going to see more ownership, I'll definitely plug him in more. I do like Robinson more, Holden. From a game theory perspective, though, in lineup construction, I wanted more Henderson just because I felt like he was going to get lower ownership.
Totally understandable.
I think that price tag is just going to draw people in. At 5'8", it's just it's a good price tag.
Jaja wants to know JSU Robbie Anderson, good one off today.
Oh God, I can't do it. Can't do it. Cam Newton. I'm just going to play McCaffrey and take my points with Mr. CMC. God, can we get him in the box today? I mean, it's gonna CMC? Come. Yeah, it's gonna come where he gets in the box twice.
It's not gonna come if Cam Newton is still in there at the 1 yard line.
It's all right. They'll throw him a screen from the 18 and they'll get in. He's scoring today.
I think he even said it right when a reporter asked him. Like I think he even mentioned the fact that it appears I'm going to have to score from outside the 15 or something. Like I thought he made a comment.
Okay.
Or asked him.
He's totally possibly did it. I think it was on the bet sheet, right? Wasn't it on minus 110? And I got in on that. Now it's something like minus 140. I'm down with the play today. Absolutely love it. This question is for JJ. Kirk Cousins? ?
Yeah, so I bet the 49ers today.
Nate Spy, JSU coming off the 170K win. Congrats again. Okay.
Thank you.
JSU with the Van Gundy.
Cousins today, just to be clear.
Van Gundy ankle grab for JSU. Why JMVP?
It's the one of those scenes where he's grabbing the dude's ankle. I forget who it is, but I know what he's talking about.
Okay. Dunkel Barrick wants to slide into your DMs. Is that possible?
Yeah, we've already slid into each other's DMs.
It's disgusting. Junior DK.
You can slide in.
I know what you really mean. Justin Jefferson in the flex as a correlation with Kittle playing a Pittsburgh stack with chalk value running backs. What do you think of that then? Kittle, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, I think that, Justin Jefferson and Kittle make sense if you're playing that game. I'm going to be lighter on that game, but if I were to play it and play a guy from each side, it'd probably be Kittle and Justin Jefferson. So I don't hate it. I just I'm lighter on that game.
First Thaddeus Moss drop of the year, huh? What do you guys think of Thaddeus Moss today? And I guess why? Because Auden Tate is out. You seen anything on Thaddeus Moss snap count?
They activated him. I'm not going to play him, but who knows? He does have a connection with Burrow, right? Right, JJ?
Yeah.
From college?
The two of them played a little football together in college.
Yep.
A little narrative play there. Pete Cox, ASU. Thoughts on Mo Alley Cox, and can you get into Godwin versus Evans?
Yeah. So Mo Alley Cox, I can't do the tight ends for Indy. I honestly rather take a shot on like a Pascal or a T.Y. Hilton or something like that than take a shot on the tight ends. So that's where I stand there. I also think game script kind of hurt those guys, the wide receivers in general, especially like T.Y. when they got up against the Bills. So I think we see them more today. And then what was the other question?
Evans versus Godwin. Can you break it down?
Yeah. So everyone knows I'm a big Mike Evans fan. I love him. I think he's a stud. Him and Brady have a great connection in the goal line red zone area. One thing though that does make me lean a little more Evans on like Godwin on the PPR sites really is I think Brady's just going to work over the middle a ton. I think you're going to see a ton. I love Gronk. That's why I see Gronk in my cores. I think Gronk scores today. He might score twice. But I think you're going to see a lot more over the middle tight. passes. And then especially with like Indy, when Leonard's in there, is a good run defense. So that's going to lead to, I think, more of that short over the middle passing game. And I think it's going to open up some Gronk in the red zone. So I love both those guys today. They're definitely my two favorite, but I'm going to have a bunch of this game. So I'm going to have a ton of Scotty Miller. I'm going to have a ton of Mike Evans and MME. Like, I'm just going to be overweight on this game, but definitely on PPR sites prefer Godwin. I think he's going to get some high volume here, like he has been. But that's where I'm at with that matchup.
All right, Bundler. It's a 2v2. So guys, let's just get a side. We don't have to go deep into it. Cook and Dillon or CMC and Sanders in a single entry GPP. That's Bundler. Cook, Dillon, CMC, Sanders.
I'm going CMC Sanders.
JJ?
Muted. You hate to see it. I don't think you can play Dillon until you know for a fact Jones is out, right? That's how that's
okay. Yep.
Yeah.
McMuffin. We're getting to Dalvin Cook. No one's talking Dalvin Cook here at RPS. Interesting. McMuffin, FanDuel, Cook and Keenan Allen or Saquon and Chase? Oh, Cook and Keenan Allen.
I go Saquon and Chase.
Really? So what about when Saquon gets you 40 yards total of offense and doesn't get in the box?
Well, if that happens, then you're probably not going to win.
So why are you going there? Now I actually want an explanation.
Because I think Saquon is going to get a heavy dose of passing work. Like a big volume in the passing game. He's going to get carries.
Doesn't know Jason Garrett. Doesn't know Jason Garrett, right? And then Dalvin Cook.
Lean on your best player, buddy. Lean on your best player.
What's up with Dalvin today, guys?
So for me, as I've said, I'm on the Niners today. I feel like this year for me, I've been a good Viking whisperer in terms of knowing when to bet them, knowing when not to. To me, this offense is playing way too well recently, and their defense has been playing well with them. And it goes back to me with this team. There are certain spots where you're like, okay, yep, this is the spot where they usually win. This is a spot where they always lose. And I don't think they'll be able to do much against this Niners run game at all. And as far as Dalvin, so to me, to start, I don't think the script is going to be great for Minnesota. Not that Dalvin's kind of independent script wise anyway, but you're paying near what you normally pay for Cook. And I don't think the matchup's great. And I think it also, I don't think you're going to get the best version of Cousins today either, which does impact Dalvin. So all things considered, I just think the price point, if he's a little cheaper, maybe he's worth it. But to me, you're paying about normal Dalvin price for a below average matchup. So I'm off him entirely today.
JSU?
Yeah, I agree with JJ, like 100% on Dalvin Cook. I'm off of him today. I also do think like Jamar Chase, like him or Joe Mixon, maybe both of them could have big games, but I do think this matchup makes a little sense. Pittsburgh at times, they will blitz. Joe Burrow, one of the better quarterbacks at identifying the blitz and then knowing where to go. And if he sees one-on-one coverage with Jamar, you can guarantee he's going to chuck that ball up. So when you know that's going to happen, like I think he has potential for big plays. Someone who I don't have a lot of, and I'm definitely afraid because I don't have a lot of him. Luckily, he's at least expensive, but I do think this could be a big game for at least one of those two stud Bengals. So yeah.
Gaskin or Ty Johnson?
I'm not a Gaskin guy. I don't like Gaskin here. Ty Johnson for me. I'll take the savings. But there is a big gap. Like it's a $1,300. That should really be
thoughts. Or should I just go down to Johnson? So Don Yeezy, I'm thinking you're getting up somewhere else. You and me are on the same page on Gaskin. Mr. Boozer, DK, which Tennessee wide receiver is better? Westbrook, Rodgers, or Dez? Dez is 3,200 on DraftKings. Higgy B, yeah, we talked about Elijah Mitchell. Deion Jones, Barrick. Deion Jones out for the Falcons. This is a Robinson smash spot. Okay, I'm glad you're with us on that one. Westy, Elijah Moore and Ty Johnson together on FanDuel. Is that okay? I don't like Ty Johnson on FanDuel, by the way. He's
you
a
don't
PPR
like Ty
player.
Johnson on FanDuel?
No.
Yeah, I think his upside is more actually could get a ton of work in the passing game. Right. So I think that's where his upside comes from. But I don't know, Holden. He could get a goal line carry or two. They could give him one. Yeah, I mean,
You know what? I loved Elijah Johnson all week, and then it's fucking
Ty
Zach
Johnson.
Wilson. It's Zach Wilson.
I know it's
I
bad.
can't do it. It's just like the two guys that I had to fight myself on was him and Miles Sanders.
It's funny because I was on Elijah Moore early in the week, but then I said the same thing like you. Why am I on him when we all know that Jamison Crowder is just going to get peppered?
Yeah.
Like we just know it.
I don't know what the pivot in that price range is, though.
I think Mike Williams.
I mean,
Mike Williams is it's just incorrect. That 5.7 price tag for the upside you get in tournaments. He's definitely not safe. It's not a fantastic matchup, nothing like that. But I just think the price tag is ridiculous for the upside of the player. And at some point you just have to throw out who he's facing. And when you just see 5.7 for Mike Williams with a dude who has literally 40-point upside.
Can I get thoughts from both of you right now? Gosh, who was the other guy I wanted to get into? Let me look it up again. Higgins, T. Higgins. Anybody on T. Higgins today? KJ?
If there's a guy I would play on the Bengals at wide receiver, it would be him. I wouldn't play Chase at his price, and I wouldn't play Boyd at his price. It does seem like it's a little bit of a carousel there at wide receiver in terms of who gets what when. And Higgins was the lone man left out last week. Maybe you get a bounce back spot for him at a better price. I don't mind it, or a decent price anyway. I don't mind it, but he would be the only receiver I would even roster on the Bengals today.
The only one that you would roster.
And to be clear, I only play 6 lineups. Not like I'm playing 100 lineups, but in 6 lineups, we'll have no one except T. Higgins at wide receiver for the Bengals.
Okay. What do you think about T. Higgins today, JSU? No T. Higgins?
I like Jamar personally.
You like Jamar?
Yep.
Yeah, because that's my one thing. Like, I'm stuck in that price range. 5,700 on DraftKings and a flex is not a good spot to be. It's Gaskin, it's Higgins, there's just Sanders, just guys.
But I think if it's a tournament lineup, take a shot with one of those wide receivers.
Higgins?
I said Mike Williams, but yeah, I mean.
Oh, this is a 1 o'clock slate too. This is a 1 o'clock slate.
Well, you got to clarify that, Holden. I can't.
I know.
You got to clarify those things.
I forgot I was playing a 1 o'clock slate.
Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work, Holden.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it, guys. Good work by me, as always. Where are you guys sitting on Michael Pittman today?
So he's likely to be the highest owned guy I have in that game outside of Thomas Brady. For me, I'm just heavy.
I love the Thomas Brady.
I'm heavy on Thomas today. And because I'm heavy on Thomas today, Pittman makes the most sense as a run back. I don't mind Hilton just because he's super cheap, but the dude is like barely on the field these days. And I get it. He could have it's not going to take much for him to get you there at 4K. But for me, Pittman's prices, I think it's come down a bit. Right now he's at 5.6. I think. I don't know what he's normally. I think he was over 6.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. 5.6.
So his price is good when you talk about the matchup. So yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of Pittman, probably sub 50% or more ownership.
Wow. Okay, very good. Why Miller over Johnson from the Fibber? Miller's played the slot when Godwin's been out. Johnson's more of a outside receiver than inside. Miller's the outside receiver today. I mean, Johnson will be number 3.
So just for an idea, guys. So Godwin plays inside the most. He plays inside 67% of the time, pretty much, almost 70%. Then they'll throw Mike Evans inside a little bit, not a ton though. He mainly plays outside. Scotty Miller, you could say he could play inside, outside, but they do. Holden's right. They do like to line him up on the outside a good amount. So, can he line up inside though? Yeah, he could. But Godwin plays the most inside for sure.
Are we done? Is anybody on Nico the Freako Collins? Seriously. Like, I keep getting questions about him.
Unless you're like stacking that game, I wouldn't be. I gotta do we think Scotty Miller is fully healthy with him being active finally? Because he was supposed to be active like
I don't care.
a week or two ago,
I don't have him.
and he wasn't. I mean,
Why are we? What basically, if you're doing that, you're playing in a big field tournament, hoping for a long touchdown.
yes, but yes,
That's it. I mean,
yeah.
I don't get
play
it.
Tournaments, Holden? Do you play tournaments with?
I play
100
single
people in
entry,
them?
3 entry, 5 entry, and that's.
So you don't play the Millie Maker at all?
I have 1 milli maker, and I'm
Yeah.
not.
So there you go.
Not even this
There
week.
you go.
I'm not doing milli maker this week. I'm like, fuck
Okay.
it. You know, I'm very, very concentrated today.
Because
So
if I gave him a little higher projection, and it wasn't still like crazy high, but
okay.
he was hitting on a ton of builds. So
We got the question, Van Jefferson question mark. I told you that was the one guy I really didn't feel good about in your core. I love your core. And now it looks like he's out.
I took him out. So yeah. I'm switching up my core right now, and I'll get it out as soon as it's done.
Okay. Guys, can we talk defense real quick? What are you guys doing at defense today? Do you just play the Texans? Can you even go down to the Jaguars, as bad as Atlanta has been this year? Can you go down to the Jaguars, although Patterson's back? Are you paying up? Do you go Patriots? Do you go Packers? JJ, what are you doing at defense this week, dude?
6 lineups, 6 different defenses.
Really? I like it. Good.
Panthers, Texans, Dolphins, Jaguars, Giants, Bengals. That's what I have.
You do have some Jaguars then. Okay. All right. JSU defense.
If you guys go to my player pool page, I got all my defenses listed. So
get them, JSU. Get them. Hold it. Go to my player page. Defenses.
Yeah, exactly. Fuck you, Holden. Read them off. Panthers, Patriots, Bengals, Houston, Philly, and the Jets.
So everyone, basically.
So, but I just took
out. Holden. Flat back. There you go, Holden.
Not a surprise for those
Philly
monitoring the fantasy football situation. Damian Harris got the first snap at running back. Ramondre Stevenson came in after. That's Harry McKenna. If you're doing the Patriots backfield thing today, good luck to you, and I hope you get it right. Parham Jr., cheap tight end for MME. Sox, Bulls, Bears. Thoughts on Donald Parham Jr.?
I think only if you're MME.
Okay. And yes, if you're MMEing Sox, Bulls, Bears, fine. Jefferson or Chase from You Should Be. That's for JSU.
Justin Jefferson or Chase? That's close. I don't have any Justin Jefferson. It's one of those fades that I was talking about that definitely am afraid of, but I kind of have to lean Justin Jefferson here. I think both guys could do big damage, so I'll lean Justin Jefferson though.
All right, JJ Niche wants to know, I'm in a DKGPP and I got 5K for my last piece. Do I go for a wide receiver? Myers, Crowder, or somebody else, 5K and less?
Probably got to be Crowder, just because we'd expect him to get a decent amount of volume. I'll be honest, in that range, though, I don't mind Noah Fant at all. I know he'll go down a few hundred for him, but I have decent exposure to Fant. Outside of that, though, it is a pretty ugly area of receivers. But yeah, those would be the 2 directions I would go.
Westbrook Akine is the guy that's probably going to get a shit ton of targets for the Titans today, but I don't know if I want to bang. I don't know how much I want from that game. I don't think I want much of that game at all. Dontrell Hilliard would be one guy that I have in one of my 5 lineups, and I think that's it. The Des Fitzpatrick thing's interesting. Swint, Perriman's back on the practice squad. Okay. KML coming in late. Thoughts on a Ram stack against Green Bay? KML. I mean, I was off of it before the Stafford report that his elbow and ankle are messed up. It's probably his agent coming out and say, "Oh my God, my client is not playing well." Let me just say all the injuries he's had. But guys, I'm off of that game with the exception of Henderson and Devontae Adams. Any of you guys have anything?
That is a game I'm almost entirely avoiding. If it beats me, it beats me. It just, I've said this before, like Green Bay, isn't scoring 27 points a game like they've done for the last few seasons. They've actually, I think, only gone over 27 points like 2 times this season. And the Rams are a defense that's improving slightly week in and week out. They've been hurt by Stafford's turnovers. I often say your best offense is good defense, or vice versa. But either way, it's a game I'm avoiding. I have some Henderson exposure, as mentioned before, but outside of that, I don't really have even. I think I had Adams, but I removed him in one lineup. Just a game I'm super low weight on personally. Doesn't mean it can't shoot. It can. It just has the makings of an under type of game, all things considered.
Yeah,
All right, so I just updated my core. You want to read it, Holden? Did you see it?
Yeah, I'll read it. But
Okay.
while you're doing that, Chase versus Godwin, can you talk about that on DK?
Ooh, if you're playing Brady, I think it's
Oh,
Godwin.
wow. The whole core is just crazy here. Okay, Brady, and now Javonte Williams is in there with Brandon Cooks, Michael Pittman, Jamison Crowder, and Gronkowski. All right. I hear you. I see what you're doing there.
Okay, JSU, we're over here making 180s. I like it.
Yeah,
I mean, complete
turn
180s.
it around.
Yeah, like not even like there's no Jamal or there's no
Listen,
James Robinson.
The building never stops, people. The building never stops.
There's no Robinson in there anymore. What do I take out of that?
Honestly, I wanted, just to be honest with people, I wanted to put Scotty Miller in there so friggin' bad. Just Owen Holden after trying to stop us from talking about him.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it in my main team. I couldn't do it in my main team. So Scotty Miller, those 3K, and he just needs one. He literally could have one catch for 50 yards and a touchdown. That's all he would need. It's not a cash play. It's not a, 500-man single entry play. It's like a tournament play for sure. But he's 3K. If he gets you 5, he doesn't kill your lineup either.
Do you like Deontay Johnson today?
I don't like the Pittsburgh as much today. I like Pat Freiermuth for sure. No Ebron today. I'm pretty sure he's out. So yeah, I think he's the one I prefer. I just don't trust Big Ben. I don't like paying high price tags for Big Ben receivers, if that makes sense. I'll take the cheap price tag on Freiermuth, but I don't like paying for studs really on these main slates. Now, if it's a condensed slate, like a 3-game slate, a showdown, well, that's different. But on a main slate, you got so many options. I just can't do the Big Ben options.
Oh, here's Big T chiming in. His feelings are hurt because we shit all over him. Me and Mangone ganged up on him. Scotty Miller's going ham for Big T. Fuck Holden.
Yeah. Big T, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you on this.
Yeah.
Let me see if my FanDuel report needs to be.
You go out on that Scotty Miller limb today, guys. Go put your bankroll on Scotty Miller. Hope it works out.
I'm calling it right now. I'm calling it right now. Scotty Miller and Gronk catch touchdowns today. Touchdowns for Scotty Miller and Gronk.
Okay.
Put it on the board. Put it on the board, JJ.
I can't.
Why are you on Javonte over Gordon from Brick 33? Doesn't Gordon get all goal line carries? He does not get all the goal line carries.
It is not.
It
does seem that way, though, because it seems like he always gets in the end zone. I'm just taking a shot, guys. I off the bye, this is where you see rookie running backs off the bye. We've seen it all the time. We saw it last year with Swift. I think that there's a possibility that he gets a bigger workload today. If he doesn't and he splits carries, though, I will say it again. I still think at his price tag, it's a fine play with this great matchup here. Now, honestly, the upside maybe go down, but if we fall into the bigger workload somehow, then he's coming in at lower ownership, and yeah, we'll be in a good spot, I think. So it's not a cash play. You shouldn't be playing my core if you're putting it in cash anyway. So you should be playing it for tournaments.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
Don't play Javonte in cash.
Don't do it. Cam and CMC are together. Is that fine? M. Westlake. Yes, it is. If you guys have any problem with that, let me know. But I don't. I like that. You better relax, bro. 2v2. Evans and Doyle or Waddle and Gronk? Waddle and Gronk.
Yeah, Waddle and Gronk.
David Johnson thoughts. T-Mole. He's in Tony's dusty DK core. It's an interesting call.
If there's a game all year that'll play well, and you would think it would be this one, right?
Shitty one.
Yep.
All right. So you're okay with it. Not a reach, but what about Laquan Treadwell on DK? He's 3K from PG Rebels.
He's playing a lot. I can't pull the trigger on Laquan, but he is out there a lot. And now Agnew's out, who was playing a decent amount.
There's a name I have not heard for a long, long time. Anthony Miller is now at the Steelers, and the question from Chief is GPP dart? Question mark? Boy.
No.
Anthony Miller versus Scotty Miller.
Scotty.
That's the shit.
I literally just said Scotty's catching a touchdown.
No. I'm throwing it out there. That's the shit tier that you guys are on. Scotty Miller and Anthony Miller.
Yes.
The shit.
Correct. Big T, he's still making fun of us. Like the guy can't just let it go.
No. I'm just all in now. If I'm wrong, you guys are going to shit all over me. If I'm right, I'm going to forget. So I'm just going to, I might as well just go in right now and pick it up. And I could just forget. The kid, Nick Westbrook Akine or MVS for a DK GPP. I mean, MVS get you a 40-yard touchdown. If he doesn't, then it's Nick Westbrook Akine.
I'm going to go MVS.
Yeah. You think he scores? Do we think, Don Yeezy, we think Aaron Jones is playing? I wanted to play Dylan. Doesn't that really take away? Like Dylan probably gets more points than Jones today in my estimation, but doesn't that just take way too much away from Dylan? Why
Definitely
are we
hurts his ceiling, right? For sure.
Yeah.
I'm not going to that spot.
Cooks or Claypool, King Mall. They want more Cooks. They said more Cooks. We need more Cooks. I'm in the Cooks camp today. He's in your core.
Yep.
Yeah, he's in your core.
I'm in it.
Drew CA. JSU.
Hold on.
I will say
go.
Is it me?
Yeah, go. I was telling him to hold on because he was talking over you.
I will say this briefly on Cooks, that most of his best games this year have been when the Texans have been trailing by a lot of points, and he's been able to do a lot of garbage time work. That likely won't happen today, but he is playing a very susceptible defense. If you look at his stats, like his second half numbers versus first half, it's pretty crazy, and it has more to do with them trailing heavily in the second halves of games. They likely won't be trailing heavily in the second half of this one, but he's by far probably the best receiver in the field today. So I think there's that option. His price is fair. I always like playing him when he's like a double-digit dog because I know I'm going to get targets from all game long. I know we mentioned David Johnson as well before. I'm a David Johnson guy today. Call me a fan.
Wow. I hope he hits. I really hope he hits. Drew CA. Can I run Gronk and Freiermuth? Is there enough upside there on FanDuel?
I think you can because Freiermuth is 5'3".
Mm-hmm.
If he was closer to that 6K price tag, which is probably where he should be, in my opinion, 5'9". But at 5'3", I think you could play them both.
Zwickler, Jacoby or Odell on FanDuel?
Jacoby or Odell?
Mm.
Odell, I guess.
I think Tony's on Odell.
Go with Big T. With Big T's gut.
Oh, there we go. We threw Big T's core up on the Big Cores page too, so that's nice. So he's got David Johnson, Claypool, Jamar Chase, Evan Engram, which not a lot of people talking about him, and I think he's definitely in play. Ryan Griffin from Ravens. I mean, he's 2.6 on DK.
Tony is just playing all the dust today. Good luck, Big T. You got some balls. Big T has balls, man. Rolling that one out.
Oh, if it works.
I can't. Even
that's what you. That's the one, not Scotty Miller. That's the one.
I can't even play Scotty Miller in my core. This guy's got David Johnson and Odell and who'd you say, Ryan Griffin? Like,
well, that's not Big T's core. He doesn't have Ryan Griffin. That was just a question. It was a question. Okay, I thought it was in his core. I kind of like Ryan. Hey, Griffin. Ravens. I think you got JSU's thoughts on Ryan Griffin. Fibber. Not a lot of talk about Ferkser. He's 2.7. Nice tight end punt. Is ownership keeping you off?
ownership. They play a bunch of tight ends.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like you're rolling the dice a little bit too much, but yeah, again, more like an MME type play.
Wiggy says, "Hey Holden, who does JSU like as a second pass catcher for Wentz in the Wentz stacks?"
So Pascal and T.Y. Hilton were the two guys I put in my pool for MME, and they both, just to be honest, they both came in at like the exact same exposure split. It was low. It was over the field, but still low. I went like 4 times the field on those guys, which is only like probably 8% or something on both those guys.
So Pascal gets 2 catches for 28 yards. He has to get in the end zone.
He needs to get in the end zone.
He has to. You mad, bro? Barkley or Robinson?
Got to be Robinson.
10 minutes.
I think Robinson is a safer play.
10 minutes till lock. Angels. Hey guys, can we play Gronk, Godwin, and Evans together? My assumption is you're going with Brady. What do you think about those 3? Just a full onslaught of bucks.
I'll say this: if you 3-man stack it, if you go 4-man Tampa stack with 3 pass catchers, that will be unique. It's gonna need a lot to get there, but who knows? Maybe it is a Brady like 5 touchdown game, and if it is, that could be the winner. We could see Godwin, Evans, and Gronk all have good games. Might hurt their ceiling, but on a slate where there may not be as much offense with some of these games, it could be the winner, right, JJ? Like at the end of the day, you could see a bunch of these games bust with some of these matchups where it's like, if Brady goes nuts, you could see all those guys catch a touchdown.
There's a realistic scenario where that game just completely shoots, like not even just shoots out where it goes over the total, like just like a 35-ish type game for both squads. Problem is, I will say this, if you're going to stack Tampa like that, I think you need Pittman. I think you need multiple. Taylor. I think you need multiple run backs on the Colts side, because as much as I think this is a good spot for the Bucs, it's hard to imagine the Bucs just blow out the Colts today. I think if the Bucs score a lot, somebody's going to score for the Colts. So I think you're going to need multiple run back if you're going to run that type of stack.
Jay Glazer, Packers optimistic Aaron Jones is going to play today. He will be the game time decision, though. Cookie Monster. Hey, any Damian Harris love, guys? I'm off the Miles Sanders chalk.
Damian Harris love. I don't have any love with Ramondre in there. It seems like it could be like a nice full split. Both of them were running well, and they still split last game, really. Damian was a little more, but for the most part, I think it's a split. I'm going to stay away.
JJ, Connor says, I know it's gross. Can I ask you about the Jets-Texans spread? Texans -3. Anything in this game?
2 tomato cans. You'll rarely see big bets like this on games. I don't even know if either team wants to win anymore. So, no look, believe it or not.
Conflicted. Is Saquon in play if he plays? He's playing. And JSU said he likes him in the pass game, so take that. Mogul Mind, thoughts on Kenny Golladay? Is Darius Slay a problem for him? I want to give him the ball more, and I think he scores a touchdown today. That's all I'll say.
There you go. I'm going to side with Holden on this one. I think he's in play. I think they're going to give him looks. Now he's still got to make the looks. Danny Dimes still has to make the throws and all that stuff, but I think he's going to get the chance, right, Holden?
They're not shadowing him with Darius Slay.
No, definitely not. Darius Slay is going to play. Hold on, I'll tell you exactly, but Darius Slay is not going to roam. I don't think with Kenny Golladay. Now, could Darius Slay see the most time on him because of where he is on? Yeah, he plays. So where is Darius Slay? He plays primarily on the left side. 75% of the time on the left side, and Kenny Golladay is playing about 37% on that side. So almost 40%. He's going to play on both sides of the field. So he's not going to see Slay the whole time. I don't think they're going to travel him. Yeah.
You met, is Ty Johnson going ham against Miami? Lord Nikon. I don't know. Probably not. You mad, bro? How about this, JJ? 3v3 just for you. CMC, Miles Sanders, and Scotty Miller versus Robinson. I don't know who Sabder is. You know what? Come type it in again, you mad, bro. I have no idea who Sabder is. Saquon and Crowder or Deontay and David Johnson, DKGPP from Mamba. Saquon Crowder, Deontay David Johnson. Pick one.
Deontay David Johnson. The Johnson.
West Coast Gem, can you ask the newest man off the market, JSU? Crowder and Kittle or touchdown Mikey and Jerry Jeudy? So Crowder and Kittle or Mike Williams and Jerry Jeudy?
Oh, that's a good one. Crowder, Kittle, or Mike Williams and Jerry. I think the Crowder Kittle one is a little safer. The Mike Williams, Jerry Jeudy probably has a little more upside. So in tournaments, probably the Mike Williams side, but it is the riskier side. I think the safer side is for sure the Kittle side.
All right, you're mad, bro. Here we go. I know you said Sanders. CMC Sanders, Miller, or Robinson Sanders, Dylan. So basically CMC and Miller or Robinson and Dylan.
CMC Miller. I'm going to go the Miller route, the CMC Miller.
Okay. Yeah, that's a 2v2. You mad, bro? What's up, buddy? Thoughts on Pats receivers today from You Better Relax? Anyone on the list? Kendrick Bourne, maybe?
Yeah, I can't.
Okay.
If you're stacking them, fine, but I can't do the Pats.
3.5 minutes. Saggy, do you like ODB to JSU?
Odell Beckham?
Yeah.
I like Van Jefferson if I was to pick a receiver.
Dylan, Debo, there's a 3v3. Debo, Conklin, Ingram, Thielen, Ayuk, Uzama. Debo, Conklin, Ingram, Thielen, Ayuk, Uzama. Boy.
The first one.
The first one, because Debo. Eli Mitchell, last piece. Yes. CC Kings, JJ, DKGPP, Wentz, Pittman, Godwin, or Ben Claypool and Chase?
Oh, first one for sure.
Okay. Thoughts on tight end Pharaoh Brown at a full punt from Don Yeezy?
He's on the field a ton for the Texans. I guess if you're playing if you need a tight end, or if you're playing Tyrod, I don't know if you're playing Tyrod or not, but at least he's going to be on the field. I mean, he doesn't get a ton of looks, but 4 targets. I mean, it's going to get some. I guess if in large field stuff, you could.
KMB Squid, Ayuk or Higgins? I like Ayuk today, by the way, guys. I like him.
You do?
Yeah, I screwed up 2 weeks ago. I had him, I think it was that Monday night game. I had him hitting over his prop. It was the 1 week where he didn't go off. I like him to get 4 or 5 targets. He'll be in the run game. He's a yak daddy. That's my personal opinion, though. I'm an Ayuk
I think
truther,
he's
though.
better when Debo's playing more at running back.
Okay.
Because he plays more of that X when Debo's lined up in the backfield. So
fine point. Okay. So Higgins?
No, I'd probably still go Ayuk. I don't really like Higgins.
Last question, guys. JJ, take it first. This is from Volker. I thought LaVisca was chalk early in the week. What happened?
Oof, I mean, I don't know. The Jaguars seem to spread it around better than anybody. And they don't even produce. So it's not even like they're a team that's spreading it around and producing. This is a good spot for them. But yeah, I don't think I've played Chenault all season. So I'm not the best person to ask.
Okay. JSU?
I mean, I don't know what to say. The dude is by far the most talented player, and he never gets the ball. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And that's that.
I get it.
I mean, he's going to – you would think, though, he's going to get some more work with Agnew out. I mean, you never know, though, with this thing. I wouldn't be shocked if Trevor Lawrence had a decent game today.
Wow.
But you never know with this Jags team.
Yeah.
I honestly think the Jags win this game. I think this is a game that they win.
Why was LaVisca chalk early in the week? Because nobody thought about Urban Meyer and how he's actually doesn't know how to use him. So I think that's why he was chalk. There was a report that they want to use him like Deebo Samuel. And then they're like, oh, hold on a second. Urban Meyer's still the coach? Okay. Mogul Mine, do you think Javonte takes over the backfield? He is in JSU's core. I love Javonte too. It's a bad run defense. Does he take over the backfield? I'm not so sure about that, but JJ, we're looking for the big 60-yard touchdown run. He'll get half the touches. He actually overtook him in snaps. So what do you think about Javonte as our final statement before we get out of here?
I think if you told me he's going to get 12 carries. I think he's lock and load. I think that's the problem, though.
I think he gets 12.
So I think he's lock and load then, because I think the spot's incredible.
Yep.
And if he scores, all the better. But yeah, to me, that's my struggle. Is I don't know if he gets that many carries, but if he does, yeah, I think he's lock and load.
Okay.
Well, I hope so, because I got him on all my main teams. So
we're locked, gentlemen. I'm going to head over to the bet side, hang out with Keg. We're going to do the live show. I'll head out for most of the first games, and that'll be that. For JSU and JJ, wonderful work, boys. Let's go win some more money. Congrats once again to my man JSU. Happy for you, buddy. And Simon, get us out of here, pal.